3 games in a row. 140-121 against the Sacramento Queens. 110-107 against those Indiana Pacers. Taking that series, by the way. And another win against the Detroit Pistons in what felt like the 7th time we played them in this season alone. 109-90. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett leading the pack in these 3 wins, along with a great productive game from Derrick Rose, Emmanuel Quickley, Frank Ntilikina. We got a crazy schedule of games on their way, especially with the break right around the corner. 2 more games before the All-Star break coming up this week, and we got the Spurs tomorrow, and then we got another game against the Pistons. Can the Knicks close out this break in this winning streak? I was going to say undefeated, but not undefeated. But can we close out this break with a winning streak? I think it's possible, but we cannot count out those Spurs who are playing really good basketball right now. But I don't care about that. You're talking to a fan of a 4th place New York Knicks team that's right around the corner from the top 3. Let's go, Knicks. But there's something that was there was somebody missing in this win streak that we probably should mention and should have a few notes on. Because like I mentioned, Derrick Rose was at the top of his game in these 3 games. But somebody was missing. Our original starting point guard, Elfrid Payton. Are we ready to point the finger and say that that's ultimately the reason? I don't know. Let's find out. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Cruise Boy, CK2K, and welcome back to another video. People, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Happy 1st of the month, new month, back on the grind. We are here making videos. I apologize, I was not able to make a video amidst the hype that was these 3 games in a row, but I am here now, and I'm excited to keep this thing going. I bit my tongue. That's why that's why I said that. Can you hear? Run that back. This thing, bruh. We are trying to keep this thing going. I did it again. We are going to try to keep this thing going up until the All-Star break this weekend, as we have another game against the Spurs tomorrow, and we close out the last game against the Pistons in the Garden, which is what I want to see. Home cooking for the break. No extra trips that they have to make. They're already home. They can chill, and we'll see them again March 11th. But before we talk about the future, we got to talk about what we're going through right now. What has got New York ablaze? It's times like this. Like, I knew it was going to come. It's times like this that makes me so upset that I am not in the city for the love and for the hype that's going on in the city, because it is definitely warranted in the city that deserves it more than anything else. And what's crazy is we got another team that's in New York that is playing in their 2nd seed on the way to being the 1st seed, and there's no buzz about that, but yet I'm seeing videos about the best fan base in the world acting the fool like in these videos that were going around over the weekend. So that's what I'm saying. The New York Knicks will forever and always be the team that represents New York, and forever be the team that we will ever care about. There will be more buzz about anything that comes out of the New York Knicks brand than anything that the Brooklyn them do. All right, and I just want to put that out there, because every time I get hyped up about something, I get one response from one of those little salty little Brooklyn Nets followers. I'm not going to call them a fan, but I'm going to call them a follower, and they're going to say, the Nets still better though. Ain't nobody care about your damn Nets. Knicks are in the 4th seed. So after a very ugly and difficult loss against the Golden State Warriors, the Knicks put on 3 tremendous games, starting off with a 140-point production against the Sacramento Queens. You heard me right? And I'm not saying like total 140 points. No, the New York Knicks scored 140 points in one game, leading to a win. We had 3 amazing 20-point productions from Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, and Alec Burks in that game. Alec Burks putting the nail in the coffin to end off the game with solid 3s down the stretch. And it was a beautiful win for a game that was the first of the 3-game winning streak where we didn't have Elfrid Payton. And we saw Derrick Rose step in the starting lineup and start us off blazing to begin the game. Pace was a lot faster. We saw the 3-point ball going in a lot better. It's a better version of basketball that we've been seeing with Derrick Rose in the starting lineup, and that only continued on to our next game against the Indiana Pacers, a game that I told you guys that I thought would have been a little bit more of the tough one, because there's so many things that are going into this game. Once again, we are 1 game under 500. We had the Domantas Sabonis, Julius Randle duel that we were going to see in this game. The Pacers and the Knicks have history. The series, it was tied at 1-1. So many implications. We got lucky because Malcolm Brogdon did not play in that game that night, but at the same time, the Pacers still did what they do, and they played against us very tough, as it was expected. But what wasn't expected was for Julius Randle to put Domantas Sabonis, the all-star substitute, into the jail cell because he only had 15 points. He did get 9 assists and 7 boards, but he only had 15 points as he was locked down by Julius Randle, who on top of locking him down in 42 minutes, scored 28 points of his own, dropping 10 rebounds and almost getting a triple-double of his own, little triple-double tickler, if you will, with 6 assists for the night. And you know who joined the party to make sure that he would help out his running mate? RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett with 24.7 rebounds in that game, and Derrick Rose dropping a double-double of his own with 17 and 11. The streak was continuing. We were getting more minutes yet again from Frank Ntilikina, who had played 2 solid games. 11 minutes in that second game there after getting 24 minutes in his first game. It is a well-rounded affair from the New York Knicks in 2 games against the Pacers and against the Sacramento Queens. And now we have to fast forward to last night's thriller, and it really wasn't that thrilling, but winning by almost 20 points is just happy enough, I'll tell you that much. The Knicks going to Detroit, where there was really no storyline because the Detroit Pistons are 9-25, or at the time 9-24 before the New York Knicks came in and played this game. But there's the only one storyline that people were caring about, and that was Dennis Smith Jr. getting his possible revenge game against the Knicks. All due respect, Dennis Smith Jr. has been playing solid in his last few games, especially being as a starter with Julian Wright out of the lineup. Which Wright is it? It's Julian Wright, right? The Knicks went out there and they spoiled this game for the Pistons. They got Jeremy Grant back, who in his own right had a good game, 21-8. He did what he had to do. But Dennis Smith Jr. only dropping 7.7 rebounds with 4 assists. He had a rough time because the New York Knicks were going out there and we fired at all cylinders to make sure that we put them down. Not only did we win this game and win by 20 points, we kept them to where we normally keep teams, and that's at the 90-point mark. Another strong game for Julius Randle, 25, 8, and 6. Another triple-double tickler on its way there. And RJ Barrett adding on with another 20 piece of his own, 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. And then we had great production from all around. It was a shorter rotation in this game, but we saw Emmanuel quickly dropping 12 off the bench for 16 minutes, 16 points for Alec Burks, again continuing his hot shooting. Derrick Rose doing what he's doing, still playing 32 minutes and dropping 14 points. And we saw great production in all 3 of these games. I did not mention them yet in Nerlens Noel. So now here we are. We are on Monday, March 1st, 2021, and the New York Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak, 18-17, and 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. I'm not going to say the P word yet. Not yet. Oh, not yet. Now, we do have some games that are on the way. The Miami Heat, who are on a 6-game winning streak right now, they're 17-17 with a game to play tonight. The Celtics, who are finally figuring themselves out on a 2-game winning streak there as well, are 17-17. And the Raptors have been playing solid in there as well, 17-17. So right now we lead the pack. But if a team like the Raptors or the Heat win their game, they're going to ultimately take the tiebreaker away from us, and we'll probably drop down to the 6th seed. But let's hope that they lose in their games tonight. So I need extra pettiness tonight while you're watching basketball around the NBA. I'm hyped up, man. I'm so hyped up about this. Shout out to Jay Ellis over on the Nick of Time show. I was really happy to be over there and get excited about the Sacramento Kings game. And then also shout out to Knicks Fan TV. I also made an appearance over there for the Indiana Pacers game. So I was still out there letting my opinion be known over on the interwebs. But at the same time, it was rough that I wasn't able to make a video on my channel because finishing the move, and here we are today. The grind is back. So yeah, so that's the hype for where we are in this 3-game winning streak. We got a tough game tomorrow against the San Antonio Spurs, but the question remains, are we sticking with what we have right now to at least go into All-Star break? Or does Elfrid Payton come back in one of these 2 games and he ultimately comes right back to the starting lineup and things go back to status quo right before the injury ever happened? Because it's hard to look at this team and see the way that they play right now and say that they're not playing their best brand of basketball in a long time this season. And we've had very good spurts this year. I mean, hell, we're 18-17 at this mark of the season right now. I know it's easy for a lot of fans to look at this and say there's no role and there's no way that Tom Thibodeau finds a way to put Elfrid Payton back in the starting lineup. But ultimately, you got to realize Elfrid Payton has been one of the guys that got us to almost 500 throughout this entire season. Maybe it's not entirely his fault, but in the eyes of Thibodeau and the coaching staff, he was in the starting lineup for those games. We did what we had to do, and right now, next man up mentality, we played the way we played. So this can go one of 2 ways. Does Tom Thibodeau just go back to what he had before? Elfrid Payton comes back healthy, goes right back in the starting lineup, and then Frank Ntilikina is back out of the rotation? Or does Elfrid Payton become situational? I think that's where the question lies. I think there's one of 2 scenarios that can come up next. I think that the Knicks could play it simple and just have Elfrid Payton sit out for the next 2 games and through the All-Star break, and then while they're practicing and they're having their team runs, then Elfrid Payton comes back from his injury and then he reevaluates. And I can definitely see Tom Thibodeau going back to his original starting lineup after the All-Star break. Or what could happen is Elfrid Payton can be healthy or not healthy going into the break, and we close out and go on a 5-game winning streak going into this All-Star break, and Tom Thibodeau is forced to keep things the way they are and have Elfrid Payton be ready at any time if, you know, somebody lacks in play in his eyes, and then Elfrid Payton gets more minutes. I think we can get one of those 2 scenarios, because right now there's several things that are changing with the lineups that we have right now. Pace. I've told you guys in multiple videos that the New York Knicks right now, with this up defensive pressure and the way we play defense right now, the way we force turnovers, we get steals, we get blocks, we play such a good style of basketball that we never ever utilize the fast break in these instances. Anytime we get a stop, we get the ball and we play slow and we let the other team catch up and play defense. But in these 3 games, that has not been the case. First of all, Derrick Rose has stepped up his defensive game that I have not seen in a long time since his MVP years. He's playing defense at a high rate. He had 5 steals in the game against the Pacers. He's doing all the things that you want to see him do defensively as well as offensively, shooting the ball and getting the ball to the rim. But the main thing is the transition game is being run. RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, as soon as the ball is rebounded, they're pushing it up. And now even Julius Randle is joining the party, and he is also pushing the pace, getting to his sweet spots in the mid-range and getting his shot quickly rather than holding the ball, waiting, and playing a half-court style game. And that's the reason why we're getting games like where we're scoring for 140 points, 110 points, 109 points. We're getting those kind of games because we're utilizing our defense and playing our offense faster. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing with Derrick Rose that I like a lot more than Elfrid Payton, because Elfrid Payton is not one to play the game fast. He needs to dribble the ball at least several times, go over all his trade options, passing options before he ultimately makes a pass. So that's just one of the many reasons why I do like this lineup and hope that we continue with this lineup. The other is I just simply like Frank Ntilikina and Immanuel Quickley off my bench, because Immanuel Quickley then gets the opportunity to be the lead guard for the bench unit, while Frank Ntilikina gets to literally just focus on what he does and play defense. And then we're seeing also Frank Ntilikina be more confident in his offensive game, taking jumpers off of the dribble, be more confident with those catch and shoot shots. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, is because he is playing next to another offensive-minded guy where he can just go out there and play his game, make his shots when the ball comes his direction. That's the version of Frank Ntilikina, and these last 3 games have been a great little sample size of what Frank Ntilikina can be, especially defensively. But on the offensive end, even though it's been minimal, pay attention to it. You can see that this kid is a baller. And if you're still talking to me about being some kind of Frank hater and saying that he's not this and he's not that, then I don't want to talk basketball with you anymore. I'm not saying Frank Ntilikina is a savior, never said Frank Ntilikina is a savior, but the value has always been there with Frank Ntilikina. If you cannot see it right now, then you're really not trying to see it. You're just looking for a reason to hate. So miss me with that. The rotations right now just make way more sense. The rotations right now are playing really well. I mean, the only upsetting thing about it is that we're out with Taj Gibson, and we do need some depth at the big man. That's more of what we need than another guard. I think our guard situation right now is the best it's been the entire season. A combination of Derrick Rose, Immanuel Quickley, Frank Ntilikina, Alec Burks. I mean, if you want to throw Reggie Bullock as one of the guards in there, then sure, then he counts too, or RJ Barrett if you want to count them too. But our combination of guards right now is the best that's been all season. I think this is what we need to stick to, and we need to focus on what's going on with our big man situation in our back court, or front court, excuse me. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. What happens with Elfrid Payton? Does Elfrid Payton come right back into the starting lineup? Should he be banished? I know that's going to be the response for a lot of you guys, but I need you guys to close your eyes, breathe, and think on what you think will actually happen with the track record of what Tom Thibodeau has been doing this season. Like I said, it will not be out of the ordinary if Tom Thibodeau ultimately decides to throw Elfrid Payton right back in the starting lineup and when he comes back, or if he comes back before the All-Star break. I don't think that that's something we should all be very surprised about. But what I do think comes, the best result or the best answer for Tom Thibodeau to, have more time to think about what he's going to do next is to just ultimately have Elfrid Payton sit out for the last 2 games and get more rest, and then figure it out once the All-Star break is over. That's what I feel like the simple solution could be. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and shout it out how excited and how happy you are about these New York Knicks on this 3-game winning streak, and for right now sitting at the 4th spot in the Eastern Conference. Let it all be known in the comments section below. It's been your boy CK. If you haven't already, already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. The Knicks are playing with something to prove this year, and if you another NBA fan, you still out there questioning, you still out there not believing the hype, then cool. Can't wait to see your team in the next coming months. All right, it's me, your boy CK. Let's get it. I'm out of here. Till the next one. We got a game tomorrow. Video's back on track. Video coming tomorrow. I'm out of here. Let's go Knicks.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes. And I wonder if this is all I'll know.